Welcome back to JW World News at Fixing My Faith. My name is Vern, and today we are talking about this case in Argentina. Now, perhaps you were following this case. It has been in the news. If you haven't seen it, we'll be looking at Avoid JW. I'll leave the links below. But today, on September 13th, these two criminals, Jehovah's Witness criminals, Pedro Matías Vargas and Vito Luciano Panza, Jehovah's Witnesses of Santa Elena. Now we'll look at where that's at. I'll just throw you on the display here and take myself off. This is where it's at, right here in Argentina. This is where the crimes have taken place. And we'll just zoom out here. In case you don't know where Argentina is in the world map, here's what we're looking at. Okay, so we'll go right to the case here, and I'll fill you in on a little bit of the details. This is from Avoid JW. You can get this article, Child Abuse, Two Jehovah's Witnesses Nearly in Prison. And again, this was done in 2021. And the article talks about the victim, Belin, and she's a survivor that made it possible. Now, what I'm going to look at here is the lawyer, her lawyer. Valerie Burkhart, lawyer for Belin, highlights that having worked in the case meant a before and after in her profession. Now, here's what she said. She said, "It's been a different experience that has led me to other areas of law because I have always worked in family cases," she explained, adding that it was very empowering to accompany Belin and listen to her story and see how she responded when she had to tell her situations. Now, her lawyer went on to say that it was very difficult gathering information in the religious field. And she says it in quotes here, "Jehovah's Witnesses are a very closed religion, and it was difficult to reach them. It was a complicated job that was done slowly, and it paid off. We were able to obtain important evidence for the case, or for the cause." Excuse me. Now, this is what's happening all over the world. Jehovah's Witnesses are looking for lawyers. We're going to be talking about that on an upcoming video. And they're lawyering up. They're getting more lawyers. And we know that the org is involved because they're covering up the information. This is what this lawyer said. It's a very closed religion, and it's difficult to reach them. And it's hard to obtain evidence, important evidence. This is all the cover-ups, the two-witness rule, all of these reasons that is putting Jehovah's Witnesses in the limelight in a very, very negative way. Now, we carry on in this article, and it says the way of the judicial case. Now, on March 19th of 2021, the Court of Appeal sentenced these guys for 12 years in prison for the crime of extreme sexual abuse aggravated by his position as a guardian. And that was Vargas. He was sentenced to that. So he was a guardian and a minister of worship. Now, what's a minister of worship? Well, you can be a minister of worship and just by getting baptized, you're an ordained minister in the Jehovah's Witness religion. You could be 12 or 13 years old, and if you qualify and you go over the questions and cover the study books, you can get baptized and become an ordained minister. Now, we know that these fellas are a little older, and they had privileges in the congregation. But it goes on to say here that the trial was held in the courts of Los Paz. Relatives of the victims, friends, and authorities of the Jehovah's Witnesses were among those who appeared as witnesses. And both convicts are currently living in Villa Mercedes, in the province of San Luis. So The abuses were perpetrated at the victims' homes where they would come to preach. And that's what one of the victims told the court, that she also suffered abuse in the Kingdom Hall Church of Jehovah's Witnesses and in a van belonging to the authority of the congregation. Well, you're going to have privileges. It sounds like these guys, or at least one of them, was in a position of oversight. And it talks about it up here at the beginning. It says, in its modality, aggravated by his position as a minister of worship. So it was repeated simple sexual abuse is what it was called. So 12 years in prison, but it went to the appeals court. And that's what Jehovah's Witnesses do. They try to get it all the way up to the Supreme Court. They hope that they can make new laws. And this is what they try to do. But here's what happened in today's media, September 13th. This is in Spanish here. But it says that these guys were convicted. And they are sentenced. So they lost their appeal. Their appeal was rejected in the Supreme Court of Argentina here. So that's it on the news. Jehovah's Witnesses are not winning the appeals. They're losing this. The Supreme Courts are tired of this nonsense. And the judicial system and the courts do not have room for all of these appeals to hide criminals. So there you have it. In Argentina, the Jehovah's Witness criminals that were hidden all this time through appeals and court appeals are now finally convicted. So now you have the rest of the story. Thanks again, and we hope to see you next time. Bye for now.